She missed last week and she's going to miss this week as well. So she'll be rejoining us the third week. Do you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything come up for you working on this soon? How was the first week and back into the flow of things and stuff?
It
How's
was
things?
good. It was good. I do have a question
Yep.
about these chord changes,
Uh-huh.
and I'm just wondering whether I'm learning a bad habit.
Probably so. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Why don't you
So
expand a
like,
little bit? Yeah.
so like if you start off with an F minor chord,
Uh-huh.
right? And because it's a picking, I guess I figured I can cheat a little bit. And not so much going from F minor to A flat,
Uh-huh.
but A flat to E flat. I don't do the complete chord. So I kind of use put down two fingers first and
Mm.
then the third finger
Yeah, totally.
because I'm picking the C string,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So then it gives me a little bit more time to get my index finger, on the A string.
So this is
And
yeah.
so I don't know, am I learning a bad habit
Yeah,
now
yeah.
doing that,
So this is
as
a
opposed to
yeah, this is
going?
a really great this is a really great question, and one that I've run into, thought about, has come up a lot in my classes. What you want to think about is this: is that when we approach chord changes, especially with new ones, things we're getting exposed to right away, or I mean, that are fresh, that we don't have a lot of experience with, we really want to treat them as like get them down and clean as fast as possible, no matter what. It doesn't really matter what your technique is. What matters is that you're making music sooner, right? So that's the important first step, is just trying to be able to move through these chords. So you've kind of taught yourself a little bit of a trick to get in between those chord shapes a little bit faster, chords that you might not have a lot of comfortability with. The eventual goal is to be able to move them in unison. But I would say this is that the only thing that you're really like handicapping yourself with is if something changes in what you're doing rhythmically. Right now, you're playing quarter notes, which gives you enough space, breathing room, to be able to move to part of that chord shape and then place the rest of it down sooner. So it's kind of a cheat, but even your awareness of it is sort of the thing that's needed. Just you being aware of the fact that, like, oh, this is I'm partially going into this chord. I think that's enough, because any chord change you learn how to play, usually any new chord shape that you learn how to play, usually you're learning it in sections, right? Like, think about the first time you learned how to play a G chord. The very first time you learned how to play a G chord, it probably was like one finger, and then you add another finger and you add the ring finger, right? And I actually teach this as like a strategy in the beginning, especially for beginners who are first getting their hands around more difficult chord shapes, is like go the first finger first, like go one finger and then build that chord shape. But eventually, especially with chord shapes, you know how to, like when you put a G down, you don't do it one finger and then the other and then the other, but you might have at the beginning. Does that make sense? So it's like you're teaching yourself a bad habit. Yeah, maybe so. But I would say this is that if the rhythm allows for it, totally use that advantage. Like, use the amount of space to be able to get into that chord change. The real key is does it sound smooth? Like, if I recorded myself, listened to it kind of passively without the ukulele in my hands, would I think to myself, oh, that sounds really disjointed, that sounds really like a stumble? Yeah, because if you were doing that, then I would say, yeah, you should probably try and get into that chord shape sooner. The one thing is that exposure to chords is what gives us consistency and execution. So the more often you're exposed to that chord change, the smoother it'll become. And right now it feels like you're going one section and then the next. Eventually it'll turn into one move. You know what I mean? That makes sense? Yeah, it's a really great question, and what I would say this is, again, the real key is that your awareness is sort of like the first step. You're already putting a shield up to learning bad habits, because you're thinking about it and you're like, oh, I know that that's not the way you should be moving into that chord shape. Just know, with enough repetition, you'll be shifting into that chord shape before you know it. Make sense? Cool. Any other questions? Great question, by the way. All right, cool. Let's remind ourselves of the rhythmic pattern. Remind ourselves of the chord changes for the A section, and then today we'll talk about. We talked about the chorus last week, didn't we? I find it kind of funny. Oh, I'm thinking the other key. I F minor to B flat. Okay, cool. Let's remind ourselves of the picking pattern. Remember, we're playing the C string with our thumb, E and A strings with our pointer and our middle finger. 1, 2, ready, here we go. C, E, A, C, E, A. Beautiful. And now that we've got this going, let's just practice kind of flowing between different speeds, okay? We'll speed the tempo up first. Here we go. C, A, C, A. Let's try to get to this tempo. See if we can pick it up a little more. 2, ready, a little faster. C, A. Beautiful. Let's take it back a clip. Here we go. Ready? Now let's take it back even slower. Here we go. Ready? C, A, C, A. Now this is a really good exercise to do. Fluctuations in speed. What they do is they teach you how to remain consistent even under kind of pressures, right? You feel this little bit of pressure when you speed your tempo up, but it lets you kind of like be in that that feeling of that external pressure, right? Being a little bit more pressed. Let's see if we can try it again. Here we go. Ready? Speed it up. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. A little faster. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. Ready? And so yeah, those little external pressures, they can help us sort of like be able to navigate more stressful situations, like, I don't know, going from an A flat to an E flat, right? Like it helps us to be a little bit more resilient in those moments. Let's see if we can remind ourselves of the chord progression. F minor here, 0, 5, 4, and 3. A flat, and I like how you were doing that with the bar across 3, middle finger on 4, and then we switch into E flat, and then we switch into B flat. Nice and slow. 1, 2, ready, F minor. All around me are familiar faces. E flat. Worn out places. Worn out faces. Bright and early for the daily races. E flat. Going nowhere. Let's go ahead and jump to the chorus. Here we go. F minor. And I find it. B flat. Kind of funny. Find it kind of sad. Dreams in which I'm dying are the best I'd ever had. Find it hard to tell you, find it hard to take. People run in circles, it's a very, very bad world. Nice. Okay, cool. So those are the 2 progressions we need to know. Picking pattern, hopefully it's getting locked in. Let's go ahead and move through verse 1 and verse 3. I'll go ahead and put it up so we can have a little reference. Sorry. Throat caught whatever my kiddo brought home from school, so feeling a tiny bit under the weather. What is happening here? Of course, anytime you need to pull something up that requires the internet, whenever you need it, it's like, it just never happens. Come on! Oh, that's why, because I'm searching. Here we go. Close, standard. There it is. Okay, cool. All right, let's give this a try. We'll try verse 1 and then chorus. 1, 2, ready with the picking pattern. All around me are familiar faces. E flat. Worn out places. Worn out faces. Bright and early for the daily races. Good. E flat. Going nowhere. B flat. Going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses. Good. E flat. No expression. No expression. Hide my head. I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow. No tomorrow. Chorus. Here we go. And I find it kind of funny, find it kind of sad. Dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. Find it hard to tell you, find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Nicely done. Awesome. Cool. Any questions about what we covered last week? Anything like that? No, we're good. Okay, awesome. Today we're going to learn a new version of that F minor, the more traditional version, what you might have already learned for an F minor. This is going to be a 3-finger shape in that first position. So first thing I want you to do, if you've ever played a D7 with without the bar, you might have run into this chord 2-0-2-0. Take this shape and shift it down 1/2 step to 1. Okay, so that's the first part of the F minor chord. These 2 fingers, 1st fret, C string open in between them. Cool? Pinky goes to the 3rd fret right here, and you've got your version of F minor. Cool? Now, I actually think I'm going to change the arrangement slightly. If this version of F minor is a different voicing for the chord, one kind of option, and I want you to start to think in this way, giving yourself more options is always better. And I think really the difference between a beginner player, an intermediate player, and an advanced player. Do I have more options, right? Because if we can learn to play this F minor as well as we can play this F minor, it actually gives us 2 options for that chord. And one thing you can do to kind of distinguish what happens during the verse and what happens during the chorus is, instead of playing this version, I find it kind of funny, I can play this version. It's kind of sad. And you notice how it changes the voicing a little bit. It gets a little bit bigger. It's a little bit different, right? So as an option for the beginner arrangement, you can play this F as the chorus. You can also interject it into the verse as well. I just really like the voice leading of that chord set when the one we learned last week. Cool? And I might change it so that during the chorus, this is the F minor that you're playing. But same chord progression, same, just a different voicing for that F minor. Cool? All right, now that we've learned how to play this F minor, we can use it in the chorus. Let's see if we can practice the shift between F minor and then B flat. And let's also practice this F minor and this B flat. Cool, so we'll try a whole note exercise, just moving in between these. This F to this B flat, and then this F to this B flat. Cool? 1, 2, ready, here we go. 2, ready, and 2, ready, switch. 2, ready, switch. All right, let's try the other F minor. 5, 4, 3, here we go. 2, and ready, B flat. Beautiful. And then, all right, let's try every other one. F minor. 1, 0, 1, 3, here we go. Open position. 2, ready, B flat. Beautiful. And then let's jump up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and ready, B flat. Nice. One more rotation. F minor. 1, 0, 1, 3, and then B flat. And last time, 5, 4, 3, and then down to B flat. Beautiful. And remember, just like before, right? We talked about how this shape can jump into the B flat shape really easily if I just kind of raise my fingers up the elevator, and then I can add the position shift. Always remember that transformation between chords is the most important thing, right? We oftentimes think about chord shapes as being these very, very separate moments. We think about one chord, forget about what you know about that chord, here's the new chord, right? If we think about it in this very kind of bipolar way where it's just like this or this, then what happens is we lose kind of the connective tissue between those two chord shapes. That really is what we're trying to learn how to do, right? My hands are trying to learn how to move from an F minor in that second position, 5, 4, 3, to a B flat. And so if you don't, it's kind of like having an etch-a-sketch, and you draw like 3 sides of a square, and then you're like, well, now I need to move to a square instead of this L shape. The C shape, maybe I should just, and then you shake the screen and like erase all 3 of those lines, and then you add that last, when really all you had to do was draw that one last line. So remember, transformation, what we really want to teach ourselves is like, what does that feel like? What does it feel like to move between an F minor chord and a B flat? If we can teach ourselves that, then it's a lot straighter path to muscle memory, right? It's a lot straighter path to getting our hands to know how to play this chord progression. Okay, cool. Let's see if we can work on a little right-handed pattern here, okay? What I'm going to play is the G string and then the A string. I'm going to play my thumb on the G and then my middle finger on A, okay? Just back and forth like this. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change what my thumb plays, okay? Instead of playing the A string, let me just remind myself of this. Yeah. G string, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to move it to the E string. And go ahead and feel how it feels to play both those strings. E and A. Cool. Back to G and A. And then E and A. Now you noticed I didn't change which finger I'm using to play the A string. It's okay if you're going to use the pointer finger for all of it, but for a 3-finger pattern, I really like to put the middle finger on the A string, just like we were doing with that pull. That middle finger, if it just gets assigned to the A string, then you can get that muscle memory sooner, right? And you don't have to think about it. Cool, let's try it again. G, A, and E, A. Nice. One more time. G, A, and E, A. Beautiful. All right, now what I want you to do is with your left hand, hold that F minor chord that we just learned how to play. 1, 0, 1, 3. Cool? All right, now what I want you to do is try that same move. Cool? Now, as I'm playing the G string and the A string, I want to change one thing with my left hand. See how my pointer finger is holding the first fret? Let's see if we can lift. Nice. And now what we want to do is with our thumb, move to the E string. Ready? Nice. Nice. Let's go back to the G string and put our finger down. Let's take it off. And then to the E string. Nicely done. Okay, so this is really what we need to do, learn how to do, but we need to do it a little bit faster. We basically need to think about this in movement sets. We need a note followed by the A string, another note followed by the A string, and then a third note followed by the A string. So let's go really, really slow, okay? First note's going to be the first fret on the G string, and then we're going to play our A string there, and then we're going to play open, and then we're going to play the A string, and now, make sense? Let's see if we can try it nice and slow. 2, 3, 4. Nicely done. 2, 3, 4. 1, open, E string. Beautiful. Always following up with the A string third fret. One more time. 2, 3, 4. And last time. Beautiful. Okay, now the cadence of this is actually slightly different. We've been dealing this entire time in quarter note count, right? We've been hearing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to change the feel of our rhythm. We're going to speed it up a little bit. Instead of hearing it in quarter notes, we're going to hear it in eighth notes. So that means we've got to learn how to do this. But you feel how slowly we're moving right now, right? These could be eighth notes, depending on how slow our tempo is. So always remember to start slow. Anytime you're learning your new technique or a new section or something that feels unfamiliar, make sure you're taking your time. Yeah, really slow the tempo down, okay? All right, let's try that a little bit faster. 2, 3, 4. 1 A, 0 A, E A. Ready and ready and last time. Nicely done. Okay, cool. We're going to keep our pinky where it is, and we're going to try this. We're going to try to use our ring finger. Now, this is going to be really awkward for most people because their ring and their pinky aren't the strongest, but hopefully with a lot of work with this F minor, your pinky's going to get stronger and stronger. Cool? So let's see if we can try our ring finger on the C string and then our pinky on the A string, okay? Now let's see if we can do that last one. You notice how my thumb is now moving from the E string to the C string because I'm fretting that. That's going to be my target note. Cool? I'm going to play this at speed just so it makes sense in the context. That's the move, right? That's your little descending line, is that you're going to play 1, 0, E string, third fret, C string. Now this is a really hard move, so let's just practice a little bit. Let's go from here, which is like 1 and 3, and let's see if we can just practice moving our ring finger there. Not going to sound great when we play that chord, but it gives us a little bit of tactile feedback to roll through that chord, so go ahead and do it. Yeah, that's it. 1 and 3, E string, then 3 and 3, C string. Yeah, just like that. Cool. One more time. 1 and 3, middle finger, and then 3 and 3 with our ring finger. Cool. Can you do me a favor and just tilt your camera down just a little bit? Yeah, go ahead. You had a question? No question? I thought you had a question. I'm reading that body language a little bit. Wrong or right?
Okay, can you run through that last part again?
Totally. Yeah.
Where's my ring finger?
Ring finger goes to the 3rd fret on the C string. Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. Awesome. So you know how you were in the F minor, your middle finger was 1st fret? So go ahead and play that. And now just take your middle finger off. Take your middle finger off. Put your ring finger 3rd fret. So you're like playing the C. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead and let go of your pointer finger too, right? We let go of that a little bit ago. There you go. That's it. That's the switch. And that's why we want to think about this. You know, we're not playing a set of chords, but we can think of it as a set of chords because that's sort of the most logical way that our left hand learns how to make position shifts, right? So we're here in the F chord. We lift our pointer finger, and then we lift our middle and put our ring finger down on the 3rd fret. Yeah? Yeah, exactly. Nicely done. Cool. So let's try it. F minor. Lift our pointer. And then we lift our middle and put our ring finger down. Ooh, yeah. I see that hand working. Cool. Let's try whole notes. 2. Ready. And 2. Ready. And 2. Ready. And nicely. And see on the 3rd rotation, I see a lot more smoothness. Your hands are starting to learn how to do it. Now, as a substitution, and I would say this is that watching you, I don't want you to do this. Okay, this is just in case Monique might need something. If Marie is watching the recording, that they might need an easier way to do this. You can also take your middle finger off and use it to go to. That might be just a little bit easier because it's a stronger finger, right? Yeah, it might feel a little bit easier to go from the 1st fret on the E string to the middle finger. 3rd fret on the C string, right? Yeah. But that's the eventual goal. I think if you can get your ring finger up there, then it won't run into things as much. Make sense? All right, cool. Let's see if we can try it all together. Whole notes. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, F minor, and then we lift off, and then 0, 3, 0, 3. Nicely done. And I know that chord sounds terrible, but it's gonna fit once we add our picking pattern. Cool. Let's see if we can try what we're gonna do with our right hand. We're gonna play G A. We're gonna play G A. Then we're gonna play E A. Then we're gonna play C A. Make sense? G A G A. E A C A. Let's try again. G A G A, E A, and C A. Beautiful. One more time. G A, G A, E A, and C A. All right. Nice and slow. I actually just want to hold an F minor. Don't do anything with your left hand. Let's try that picking pattern again. 2, 3, 4. We go G A, G A, E A, and C A. Cool. One more time. G A, G A, E, A, and C, A. All right, let's try some of the left hand changes to make this whole thing come together, okay? We go G, A, 0, E, A, and then C, A, but our ring finger. Beautiful. Now, right after that, I want to go to a B flat chord, and then my picking pattern on the quarter notes. Cool. Now I'm going to play it in the context. You just take a little breather. That's our whole thing. Make sense?
How come I can't hear you?
Oh my God! Did we do it again? I
don't know.
You have got to be kidding me.
I thought
I've had my original sound. I've
had
had my original sound off
internet.
this entire time. How many things have we played? Listen, anytime you hear that, you've got to remind me. I have tried my best in Zoom to find the setting where original sound is just automatically on whenever I start a meeting. I have not been able to find it anywhere. If you can find it, let me know. But I've been searching for that feature for a really long time. So I have to remind myself to do it every meeting. If you ever hear like a little bit of sustain getting clipped, if you hear any silence, if you're like, that doesn't sound right, tell me to check the original sound and tell me to check my
Okay.
tuning, okay? Because I drop tune my ukulele all the time, and oftentimes I'm playing along, and I'm a half step lower than everybody else, and everybody's like, "Why does it sound like this?" It's because my ukulele's out of tune, or it's because my original sound's not on, okay? So
Okay.
anytime you hear those things, and again, remember the recording. It's not gonna feel that way. So if you're going back to the recording, it's not gonna sound like it did in the Zoom meeting, okay? So let's try it again. This time, sit back and listen. You already know what to do, so just chill for a second, okay? Sounds like this. And that's our riff. Make sense? Okay, so that's our first half of the riff. Let's see if we can try it together. Remember, you can memorize the picking pattern, you can memorize those left hand shapes that you make, and you can practice them independently. So make sure that you're using that strategy to really help. Okay? Let's see if we can try it together. Zoom. Oh, mute. All right, nice and slow. F minor chord. We play G A. Lift our pointer. Play G A. Now play E A. Now play C A. And move to the 3rd fret. Now go to the B flat chord, and we're going to do our picking pattern here. Cool? So remember, we're playing 8th notes in our intro to that riff, the beginning of that riff, and we're playing quarter notes when we get to the B flat. Cool? So it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2, 3, 4. Cool? Nice and slow. 1, 2, ready? Here we go. G, A, 0, A, E, A, 3rd fret, C string, A, and then into the B flat chord. And we've got half the duration. Cool, let's try it again. F minor, G, A, 0, A, 1, A, 3, A. Good. And then into the B flat. Nice. Let's try 2 more rotations. Here we go. E, A, then C, A, 3rd fret, and into the chord. And last time, here we go. F minor, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's end on F minor. Beautiful. Okay, cool. That makes sense? Any questions about that riff? I've been talking about a lot about this month. I've been like making shorts and things about learning how to do transitions really well. A lot of times we can learn how to do this independent of the tune, right? We can learn, oh, cool, now I know how to play this riff. I can play it well. And then we can know how to do the picking pattern in the chord progression. We can even know how to sing and play over that picking pattern in the chord progression. What really happens is that making the transition between doing the riff and moving into the verse, or doing the riff and moving into the chorus, it becomes challenging. It kind of feels like a speed bump. It feels like we get trapped every time we do it, and it's really, really hard to wrap our head around it. Learning how to practice a transition, learning how to do a transition is all about exposure. So if you can do the riff well and you can do the singing and playing well, you have to practice transitioning between those two if you want it to happen smoothly in the song, right? You can't expect that because you can do these things in a vacuum, independent of each other, that it won't still trip you up. It's almost like you're switching hats when you do this, right? Oh, I'm playing lead now on the ukulele, and then I'm switching to accompanying myself while I'm singing, right? That can be a very jarring transition for if you're not familiar with it, right? But you can teach yourself how to become comfortable with anything. So that just means you need exposure. So that means do the riff and then switch into a rotation of picking the verse. Do the riff or do the chorus and then switch into a rotation of picking or doing do a rotation of picking the chorus and then switch into the riff. You just got to expose yourself to that as many times as you can, and then it'll feel like something that's just not so surprising, right? You won't surprise yourself when it comes up. Cool? All right, let's try that riff one more time, and then we'll try to learn the second half of it, okay? 1, 2, ready, F minor. We go G, A, 0, E, A, 3rd fret, and we switch to B flat, and then we're doing our picking pattern. And let's try one more time. F minor, E, C 3rd fret, nice, into the B flat. And let's end on F minor. Beautiful. What I want to do is I actually want to see if I can pick a melody, okay? So I'm holding the F minor. Can I play 1, 3, and 4? I want to play 1 on the E string. I'm going to play 3 on the E string, and then I'm going to move it up 1 step. Cool? Now, I would normally play this like this, finger per fret, but since we're holding the F minor chord, I just need to learn how to play it with my middle, pinky, and then slide it up, okay? Go ahead and try to play those 3 notes on the E string. 1, 3 with my pinky, and then 4. Cool? Let's try it again. 1, 3 with my pinky, and then slide it up. Cool? Yeah, you're using your pointer finger, which is natural. I want you to use your middle finger because that's where your middle finger is when you're playing the F minor chord, right? So middle finger 1st fret, pinky 3rd fret, and then you shift it up. Cool? Go ahead and play that 3-note phrase. Yeah, nice. You're playing 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 3, 4. Right? There you go. Yeah, that's it. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 3, 4. Beautiful. Awesome. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. Awesome. Okay, cool. So the second half of this riff is actually identical up until you change something. Make sense? So you're going to play bum, 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 bum. You're going to play that the same. And then the E string and then the A string. And then you're going to play this little melodic lick, right? So it sounds like this. See, it's all the same. And then when you get to this 1, you're going to change those 3 notes that you play, right? So it's 1, open, and then when you get to the E, you're going to play. Okay? Yeah, and then open. And now play 1, 3, 4 on the E string. All right, so you've played that 1, 3, and 4. Now watch. I'm actually going to go into the B flat chord and play my last melody note. See how I did that? I played 1, 1, 3, 4, and then I'm going to use my middle finger to play the A string when I switch into the B flat, and then from there I can do my picking pattern again. Cool? So let's practice that move. Let's play 1 with our middle finger. 3 with our pinky, and then 4, and then A string 1st fret when I switch into the B flat, right? Yeah, there you go. 1, 1, 3, 4, and 1 inside of the B flat chord. Make sense? There you go. Pinky, pinky, and now go into the B flat chord and play the A string when you do it, yeah? But remember, that part of that note is part of the melodic phrase. So that means that you have to move a little bit quicker from 4 to 1, right? 4 on the E string to 1. So watch my hands. See how I did that? You don't need to have the whole chord held down, but you do need to get to that 1st fret bar right away. 1, 3, 4, into the bar. Yeah, this is actually connecting to our discussion at the beginning of the class, right? Can I go to 2 fingers of the E flat chord before I go to that 1st fret on the A string because I'm not picking it yet? Same situation here. You can get into the B flat chord with just the bar, and then your middle finger can come after because you've got a little bit of time before you need to play that C string, right? So you're here, middle finger, 1, 3, 4, bar, and play the last note. 1, 3, 4, into the bar. Cool? And then from there, you're going to get back into the picking pattern. Make sense? All right, let's review. We got an F minor chord. We're going to play the G and A strings. We're going to pick our pointer finger up, do the same thing with our right hand. And now when we get to the E string, we're going to play 1, 3, 4. shift to the bar and play the A string and then into the picking pattern. Cool? Now, to get this to sound smooth, it'll take some time, right? But you can see it'll take some time, but the thing you want to think about is each step and how do I connect them, right? Yeah, go for it. 1, 3, 4, and then into the bar. There you go. Nicely done. Okay, so let's take it nice and slow. 1, 2, all together now. And 1, 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 4. And then 1 with the bar, and then into the picking. Cool. Let's try that again. Here we go. F minor. G, A, 0, A, 1, 3, 4. And then into the bar. Yeah, nicely done. Last time, here we go. F minor, G, A, then 1, 3, 4, and then into the bar. Beautiful. All right, before we connect these, let's remind ourselves of the first one. Sounds like this. Cool. Now remember, that's playing 1, 0 on the G string. Now, E, A, C, A, ring finger 3rd fret, and then into the B flat. Cool, nice and slow. 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 0, 3. Now play E, A, C, A with the 3rd fret held down into the B flat chord. Nice. That was smooth. Let's see if we can go straight into the second one, okay? F minor, same opening. Now play 1, 3, 4 on the E string. And then 1 in the bar, and then into that. Nicely done. Let's try that whole thing one more time. F minor, here we go. 1, 3, 0. E, A, C, A, 3rd fret, and then B flat. Nicely done. And then F minor, here we go. 1, 0. Now 1, 3, 4. And then bar. Nicely done. And take a breather. Just listening. Cool? Make sense? All right. Awesome. Now, remember, we're going to treat this as the opening riff. So what I want you to do in the interim, because the eventual goal is to be able to play this riff and actually sing Mad World, which is a huge ask, okay? So for right now, what I want you to do is when you get to this section where it goes, people run in circles, it's a very, very... Just keep playing the chorus. Mad World. Cool? You just keep playing F minor to B flat. But eventually, if you're looking for a real challenge, what actually happens is people circles, it's a very, very mad world. That's eventually what you want to get to. Mad world. Now, the chord progression doesn't change. It's still F minor and B flat. You're just playing a riff during it. Again, if that's too challenging, just do this at the beginning of the tune, and anytime you're not singing, you can kind of throw it in. Make sense? Okay. So I'll unmute. Any questions before we get out of here?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. It was really nice to see you, Chris. We'll see you next week. Let me know if you have any questions, okay? All right. Take care. Bye.